And now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Hyung-tae Kim, the award-winning South Korean director and CEO of the company Shift Up, the man behind Destiny Child. The man behind Nikke Goddess of Victory.
So let's head inside the train, shall we?
And the man behind Stellar Blade behind.
Technical perspective, it was looking really impressive.
And without further ado, what the hell just happened here, man? Well, I don't know what's happened there, you damned fools, but I'm so glad you're joining me for today's video. Yet another video on Stellar Blade 2, because you cannot spell ignorant without saying IGN. And Simon Cardy and Wesley Yimpool, not related to the full Tim Pool, but you never know when you put those two together, are attempting to gaslight the South Korean director they call Hyung-tae Kim because he's bringing out a sequel to the phenomenally successful Stellar Blade. And this sequel apparently has problems already. Problems ignited by the Western media because the Eastern media doesn't have a problem with childlike female protagonists in their entertainment. It is part of their DNA. I cannot see why these repressed middle-aged men are getting hot under the collar over the apparent new sex appeal of the character Evie, who still has a problematic design despite the fact she is a prototype for now, and her appearance will change over the course of the next few months, while the team of less than 300 at the offices of Shift Up are working away, even as I speak, on this game to bring it out to you in hopefully the year and rear of the beginning of 2028. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this video today. Give it a like, and more importantly, if you're watching this video from your phone, go to the hype button, click on that, give me some points, and send me into the algorithm. Shift Up CEO Kim Hyung-tae says Stellar Blade Blood Rain will have more appealing outfits than Stellar Blade. And from where I'm sitting, there's a lot of cheekiness to that woman that meets the eye. But I already know that. And her counterpart, which is even more tantalizing, is something I can't wait to get my little feet into. Well, speaking of little feet, folks, I'm actually a size 10. But you know what they say about men and their foot sizes? But of course, folks, people are going crazy in the comment section from Genki's repost of the IGN article. Genki's getting ready to play this game with no pants on. Well, a guy who speaks after my very own mind. I just don't understand how it will be more appealing when the character of Evie herself is not appealing at all. Now, from a guy that calls himself Game Characters AI, maybe he wants to reconstruct Evie into what he sees as Guna material. From that statement alone, I'm thinking, yeah, do you know what, bro? She's not sexy enough. Listen, this is Shift Up. This is a team behind the award-winning video games I said in my intro, so there'll be no problem at all. And even if the game comes out with a protagonist that no one is totally pleased with, I guess each to your own, man. I thought she looked absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever. It was the hit at the Summer Game Fest this year. That trailer blew everybody's socks off. It was incredible. You weren't ready for it, and it was just so eye-catching, so mouth-watering, causing even the guys at Digital Foundry to have such a meltdown in the best possible taste. Now, folks, you've got to take this article into consideration that it is a mild form of gaslighting from these gruesome twosomes right here, because when they're interviewing Hyung-tae Kim, they are trying to do their best to upset him, but the guy is resolute. He's super cool, and he knows that he's no fool, but they are, because Mr. Hyungtae Kim is a fan of the A-Team like I am. Now, they talked about the biggest talking point, or in the case of Evie, talking points, and I thought she looked absolutely fabulous. How did they kick off the interview? Well, you know what? We've got a problem with her age because she looks young.
Hearken! The both reign shall cease!
Hyungtae Kim says, yes, she's younger, she's smaller in size, she's shorter than Eve, but she has a stronger personality and engages in much tougher battles. And she's actually part of a special elite squad that chases after groups of terrorists who cause terror attacks here and there and in your rear in the city. Now, what I get from this actual paragraph are a couple of things. We're going to see more than one Evie. We'll probably have some male Evies walking around with their shirts off, and that's absolutely fine by me. But she might get Eve popping in and popping out, if you know what I mean. Other prototypes, maybe a blonde, brunette, and a redhead, if you get my Playboy drift, right? So I like that part. And also, if she's being talked about as having a stronger personality, I think it's because they're going to get a proper actress to come in and give her some really cool lines. Obviously in South Korean, then obviously in the native English tongue as voiced by an actress who exudes King Arthurian velour about her. In other words, the Far East are always fixated by English culture, like the Lord of the Rings, the Celtic mysticism. They'll probably get an actress like that to give that tonality to Evie. That's what I think. Now, of course, what they say here, this is not actually part of the interview at the moment, but it kind of is integrated into it, where they said that Stellar Blade is a highly sexy character. So we asked Hyungtae Kim, because he's obviously a fool, if he was worried by using such a young-looking character in Blood Rain to soak it all up. And it's such a stupid thing that I really, really hate, because if you're digressing to that particular point of the conversation, it means that you, Simon Cardy, and you, Wesley Yim Paul, obviously think like that, because when you saw the trailer for Evie in Stellar Blade 2, that's what immediately came to your deranged minds. And now you're redirecting that anger and discourse to Hyungtae Kim, who sits there going, you guys are idiots. You don't understand Japanese, South Korean, Chinese pop culture, where that is the norm. Older guys like younger looking chicks in various outfits doing things like singing in a K-pop band, or doing martial arts, or wielding machine guns in mini outfits. Nothing's wrong with that. If it tickles your boat and pleases your fancy, then carry on. That's what I say. But let's wheel on with this interview, because it's a really, really long interview. If you actually play the game, Kim says, you will not think that. He replied, I definitely like how Eve looked. I think Mr. Kim's son, we all liked how she looked in the previous Stellar Blade. But this time, Evie, not just a physicality, but a personality, the way she walks and the way she talks, she ain't got no time for no man, you think. The way she engages in battles, all that all combined together, and you'll see that she's a very lovable character. Now, what I get really excited about in that section here is that we're going to see moments or cutscenes where Evie's interacting with a handler that we heard in the beginning of that trailer. You know, when Evie's holding the vial and her handler is saying a few things to her, that crazy things. We'll probably get to see what she looks like, and I bet you she's a bit of a looker as well. You can guarantee every woman in this sequel is going to be absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, how it should be. Of course, here we go. This seems to be happening in threes at the moment. The first Stellar Blade, said IGN, because they're ignorant and you can't spell that word without you know what, is known for its revealing unlockable outfits. Oh dear God, so we can't reward the players with unlockable sexy outfits. We have to restrict Eve to one particular design only. How dumb is that? And from the sounds of things, there are no plans to tone things down for the sequel. So for the sound of things to tone down things, use things in the same sentence, IGN. How stupid is this article? It will be even more appealing, said Kim, of Eevee's outfits. That's all we're gonna say, and he's right. I mean, in this interview as well, they try to press Kim for more information about the game. As he quite rightly says, the game is still in development stages. I would say that it's probably 3/4 of the way there. They've got the assets from the previous game. They know what they're going to do because they have to get that made. Then they're going to get all the DLC for the future to be lined up and uploaded. It's going to be awesome, actually. And I think the world of this game is going to look more incredible than that of Stellar Blade. So as Eve's story is over, do you have to play the first Stellar Blade to play Blood Rain? The answer is yes and no, because again, if you play the first game, you'll actually understand some of the callbacks the second game is going to make, which is absolutely fine. But what Mr. Kim is saying here is if you haven't played it, you can jump into this one and it's absolutely fine. So again, oh, I say, now, wow. I mean, bro, I mean, if you look at her design already, I can tell you that you can, and we saw it in the trailer. She's wearing a Red Riding Hood outfit, something similar to that, like an urban Red Riding Hood. The possibilities are boundless, they're endless, and that's how it should be. They'll probably make her do you know what I'm thinking as well? They might make her swap out bodies or gauntlets or whatever. But it seems that if you're middle-aged, fat, repressed, receding hairlines, of course you're going to find video games problematic, because I bet you when the new Fable game comes out in 2027, IGN will give it a 9 or a perfect 10 out of 10. And when this game comes out, Blood Rain, you'll probably get a 7 out of 10, which of course will cause more people to go and buy the game and play and stream it, which will be absolutely hilarious and a big kick in the nuts for IGN, whose Rebecca Valentine was fired a few months ago because she is another Journo who tried to gaslight the people behind Black Myth Wukong Game Science in China and failed miserably in the process. But on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if I were you and if you were me, we should definitely hang out again together and talk more about Stellar Blade and this upcoming sequel that everybody is excited for, because it was the biggest drop of Summer Game Fest this year. And I suspect, by the way, China Joy, which is happening very, very soon, might show more footage of this game, because why the hell not, right? China figures in this game, by the way. It's kind of like a fictionalized version of a futuristic China, because you've got all the hieroglyphics that apparently some of them are AI constructs. Now, remember what I said before, Xi Jinping is good friends with North Korea, and he wouldn't have any objection about their country's alphabet being slightly bastardized in a top-selling video game. You never know, China might bring out their own version of Stellar Blade in the near future. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you found joy and buffoonery in this video today, make sure you give it a like, smash that subscribe button, and if I were you and if you were me, I will leave you, leaving me with the lovely sight of Eve in interchangeable outfits for the first Stellar Blade game.
Next time on Kung Fu Hot Dog.